This is Ken's 5 Screen Test Goes to the Oscars. We are breaking down every major category at this year's Academy Awards coming up in just a few days. I'm David Lynch.
And I'm Jackson Floyd. And David, we're going to knock out Best Supporting Actress in this video. And this one feels like one more of the locks coming into the awards ceremony here. Let's break down the nominees here. Who are the nominees we're seeing in Supporting Actress?
The Best Supporting nominees this year are Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit, Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell, Florence Pugh for Little Women, and Margot Robbie for Bombshell.
Now, this is a group of actresses that we saw appear in quite a bit of things. I mean, Laura Dern made the crossover between movies and TV.
Right.
She was in 2 movies this year as well. Just a busy group of actresses.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at these 5 performances and performers, I think they kind of outpaced the other 3 acting groups this year, or at least the other 3 groups of nominees, Jackson, as far as kind of what they contributed to how we're going to remember 2019 in cinema. They've, like you said, they've been real busy. I mean, just look at Scarlett Johansson. She's nominated here for Jojo Rabbit. She's also nominated in a lead actress for Marriage Story, and she was also in a little movie called Avengers Endgame.
You might have
heard of it.
Yeah,
exactly. made a couple bucks at the box office. If you look at Laura Dern here for Marriage Story, she was also earlier this year returned to the small screen in Big Little Lies. She's really had a busy last couple of years, not only just 2019. She was also in Little Women in a role that I really liked a lot too. Margot Robbie, she's nominated here for Bombshell. I think we can. I don't know if you saw the movie, but I think for those of you who did see it, you can probably guess which scene she was probably solidified her nomination here. She's really got one of the. She's really the center of probably that scene's most harrowing and probably memorable. That movie's most harrowing and memorable scene. Also over in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, she just continues her ascending star over the last couple of years. She's just been getting greater and greater roles every year, and she was also a big part of the discussion Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well. And then of course Florence Pugh.
Yeah, I mean, if this year 2019 isn't remembered as the year of Adam Driver, it's the year of Florence Pugh. Just a breakout year for her. Starting at the beginning of the year with Fighting with My Family, I think a criminally underrated film that not a lot of people saw.
Yeah, and it's available for streaming on Hulu, so you should see it. Fun movie.
Prime as well. It's a very fun movie. The Rock is himself. The Rock needs to be himself more often, I believe.
I agree.
And then, of course, Midsommar, which was one of my favorite surprise films of the year.
I think so, yeah. Midsommar, what she does in that is just incredible. A horror performance, probably not any surprise that was ever going to get really any recognition at the Academy.
And for more on horror films, check out our Best Actress video as well.
Yeah, check that out for sure, as far as what we think on that. And then here for Little Women, in a role I love. 3 very different movies for her in breakout year. 3 very different movies as far as just tone and audience and just verve. And she just molds herself to what she has to do in each one just perfectly.
So we talked about how this category is pretty much a lock, and that's because Laura Dern has been sweeping through the awards season, starting at the Golden Globes, continuing her dominance in this category since then for her role in Marriage Story.
For sure.
Deservedly so here?
I'm not going to be too mad about it. I mean, like you said, she won the Golden Globe. The Oscar nominations came out, I think, 3 years ago with the abbreviated voting season this year. I think the morning those nominations came out, you could say she had it in the bag then once you saw that Jennifer Lopez for Hustlers wasn't going to be in the mix, neither was Zhao Sushen, the grandmother from The Farewell, who I think is great.
And 2 people who arguably had a chance of being who could belong in this
category. Absolutely. There's definitely a couple others. I think of Julia Butters from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Absolutely. I think a child performance more than deserving to be recognized in this category. Definitely. But I think that morning you could see that Laura Dern kind of locked it down. Like you said, the next couple of weeks have just been solidified that mindset. She's just been sweeping every award. She's won all the precursor recognitions, and it's her first. Kind of crazily enough, she doesn't have an Academy Award yet. I think this is her 3rd or 4th nomination, no more than that. She doesn't have an Oscar win yet, so it seems like a manifest destiny for her.
And it seems like another one of these stories where the Academy Awards gives an award to someone who has deserved it over I guess a breadth of a career here.
Sure.
Someone who might be getting to the award a little later than expected.
Sure.
She's great in her roles in several David Lynch films.
Yeah.
Maybe even deservedly so in Jurassic Park.
Shoot, give her an Oscar for Jurassic Park. Why not? Just recognize this movie as much as we can, and Laura Dern as well.
Exactly. So I mean, that's who we think will win. We don't think there's going to be any surprise there.
I don't think so.
Who should win?
My vote would go to Florence Pugh, who we talked about a little bit. Great in every movie she's been in. She capped it off with Little Woman that came out at the tail end of her breakout year in 2019. I love what she does in Little Women so much. I think so much of that movie's success lies in Greta Gerwig really creating the chemistry between the actresses who played the March sisters, and Florence Pugh plays Amy March, the youngest, in two separate timelines, as like Greta Gerwig, how she plays around with the timelines of the movie, and she pulls it off magnificently. She plays 12 or 13-year-old younger Amy March, and kind of her impatient, kind of bratty, really ambitious, funny self, and then also she plays her just as well later on in a very different kind of stage in her career as the older Amy. And she's so freaking funny in this movie. Every line reading is amazing. It's kind of one of those performances where there's a couple points in line readings where, they're not super, super, super important to the plot, but you don't really know 100% what she said because she kind of went off on a tangent and kind of shouted it, or kind of it's a line reading that was delivered kind of mutely or just really humorously. But everything she does is so funny, and in a movie full of really great other supporting performances, this one kind of rises to the top for me. And it'd be cool, I think, for the Academy to recognize a breakout star, the younger kind of next generation here.
I mean, I'm all in on the Florence cinematic universe, if you will. I think
Let's call it that. Yeah,
transcendent this year, and I think it's only going to continue next year as the Black Widow comes out. Who else knows what's on the horizon for her there?
That's all that we know that she's going to be in upcoming now. As far as where we're at today, I'm really excited to see what other projects she signs up for.
All that being said, my favorite supporting actress performance this year was
who do you
Margot
think should
Robbie,
win? Okay.
But not for Bombshell. And I know what scene you're talking about earlier on, and it's a very devastating scene.
Sure.
However, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a movie about aging. It's a movie about these jaded actors who have kind of seen the twilight of their career, and that only works juxtaposed with the character of Sharon Tate.
Right.
And you can see, Quentin Tarantino out on the awards ceremony circuit has talked to that, talked to what Margot Robbie brought, the light, the sunshine, absolutely the least Tarantino thing in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is this performance from Margot Robbie. And I know there's not a lot of dialogue. It's all about the action. It's all about watching her, the optimism, the light and the sunshine that she brings to the role.
Yeah.
And the fact that also, in the movie, they're doing a lot of altered history. You see Leonardo DiCaprio's character kind of digitally inserted into The Great Escape.
Right.
Obviously the ending there, the alternate timeline that proposes there. But the fact that Tarantino presented Sharon Tate on screen as the real Sharon Tate.
When they're watching The Wrecking Crew, right?
Exactly, in the theater. And then you cut to Margot Robbie and just the admiration she has for the performance. It brings to light not just Tarantino's admiration for Sharon Tate in general, but Tarantino's admiration for Margot Robbie in that role.
It's one of my favorite scenes and one of my favorite movies of the year. It's really interesting. Only Tarantino can do that kind of fold time and what we know about the history he's playing around with, and also what we know about Margot Robbie as her ascending star. She would kind of be she can kind of be compared to a Sharon Tate at this point in her career when we unfortunately lost her. And that scene, she is really great. She, like you said, it's dialogueless, but everything, she's so good because you can tell all the admiration of what she's feeling just in her eyes and her emotion, and how she's kind of playing around and mimicking her character's actions on screen. It's a really great scene. I love it.
They cut to her working with Bruce Lee on the movies as well, making sure she masters and perfects that. And you can see the dedication that Robbie brought to bringing Tate echoed in that as well. So.
And the point of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the title echoes it. It's a fantasy. Yeah. And what that movie achieves in the end of, what we could have had, and maybe what Tarantino provides us just in the experience of watching the movie, it doesn't work unless Margot Robbie doesn't kind of feel as free-spirited and evoking the spirit of a young star on the rise in 1960s Hollywood as well as she does. So,
and all that being said, what we just said, it's kind of a shame that not only is she not going to get recognized for this role, she can't get recognized at the Oscars here, not nominated. Once Upon a Time might go home empty-handed.
Yeah.
There's a pretty good chance of that as you go through.
Yeah.
If you put this on the outrage meter for me, I'm at a 2 just based on the nomination there. If Robbie gets nominated for the right role, I think I feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
All of these are incredible performances. Laura Dern, I don't think we talked enough about how magnanimous she is in this performance.
Yeah, you can't argue against any of these nominees. Even Kathy Bates. She was only in one movie this year, Richard Jewell, but I'm not going to take her for granted. A Kathy Bates performance is going to be a Kathy Bates performance I'll cherish. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, only slightly outraged. We're saving our outrage for other moments here in the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Check out the Best Director film if you want to hear a little more outrage from us. But yeah, that's the Best Supporting Actress. I don't think either of us will be disappointed. If
no, I don't think so either. I think think on a outrage meter of 1 to 5, I'll be like a 1.5, a tick lower than you, and just it's time for Laura Dern. It's going to be awesome seeing her accept an Oscar.
Exactly, and that moment that she's been waiting for 30 years.
At least.
So be sure to hit subscribe there on YouTube on the bottom corner there for the rest of these videos here. We've got a playlist of all of our Screen Test Goes to the Oscars video on YouTube, and check out kins5.com for more of our content as well.
Yeah, if you'd like to read about the best, some of the other Oscar-nominated movies, as well as the Best Picture nominees, I've written about all of them on kins5.com/screentest. I'm David Lynch.
And I'm Jackson Floyd, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.